بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. So we left off in greater sins talking about the debts, and we said that how important it is to pay those debts, not to leave anything unpaid if we can help it. Um, we saw that from the story of the prophet that he said as soon as the first drop of let me see, this is from Imam Bakr alayhi salam. As soon as the first drop of a martyr's blood is spilled, all his sins are forgiven except the unpaid debt, which is not excused. Its forgiveness can be achieved only by repaying the debt. And then we saw that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam refused to for someone until the relatives. We talked about different um, time period, and then some all at one time. So dollars, and he has a payment arrangement to pay $100 a month. Okay, sorry about that. Not sure what's going on. Okay, so we left off saying that this hadith makes it clear that someone who doesn't fulfill someone else's rights or they delay the repayment of a debt is equal to khayanat, or not fulfilling the obligation of that debt. Consequently, the all it says all the traditions in that we spoke about in this chapter previously about khayanat are equally applicable in this chapter. It's a type of oppression, the author says. He says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a Muslim who, in spite of being capable, he delays repaying the debt, has committed oppression on all the Muslims. Not repaying a debt is a kind of oppression on the creditor, and it's an act of oppression on the Muslims in general. It's because when they see this, that this person, in spite of being capable, he doesn't repay the debt. The others who are capable of lending money, they will, they will be discouraged to pay too, because they say, you know, oh, that person, he didn't pay his debt, so why I got to pay my debt on time? So lending money has rewards for it, and anyone who's responsible for discouraging it has oppressed all the Muslims in this way, because due to their actions ignoring that debt, they have created an instability in society, where now people they were trusting before, they have now become suspicious and hesitant to give loans because they're afraid they might not get their money back. What's the guarantee that they get their money back? And this will affect all of society, and perhaps someone later down the line they really need money, and now they can't obtain that money because for the loan, because society mistrusts people now, because so many people haven't paid the debt. So it's a type of oppression on society. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, may Allah curse the one who closed the doors of good actions, and it is the one who is not thankful to the one who has done some good towards him. Consequently, the doer of good refrains from doing the same favor towards someone else in the future. So sometimes people can ruin other people's chances. One person comes along and messes it up for everybody. They take a loan. Let's say this one man was generous and he liked to give money to people, and then all of a sudden, one person comes along and he doesn't pay the money back, and he just runs off with the money. Now this generous person is going to be like, maybe, I shouldn't lend so much money to people, or I shouldn't give loans anymore. And then it causes a big ripple effect, and a lot of other people can get help. Says certainly lending is an act of goodness, not repaying or causing undue delay in the repayment is disregarding this favor. Also, it can result in the creditor avoiding lending money to anyone else in the future. Authentic narrations have greatly emphasized the rewards that are promised for the one who lends money. On the other hand, those who avoid this good deed have severe punishment in store. Sometimes he says it's wajib to lend money, and not it's wajib to lend someone money when they need it, and not prohibited to lend. And sometimes it's mustahab to lend money, and makruh not to lend. He said it's case by case. He says generally it's detestable to borrow, but in need to do so is genuine. The makruhat, or detestability, is scaled down because they need to. Like, there's no need to borrow money if you don't need to. But when you need to, now that need overrules the other ruling, that it's detestable to borrow money. So now, in the circumstances have changed, then that is removed, and now it's okay to borrow money. In fact, under some circumstances, it's obligatory to borrow. So some cases it can be wajib. For example, it becomes wajib to borrow to save one's life or honor. If a person knows that he will not be able to repay the loan, then precaution demands that he should refrain from borrowing unless he is in dire need. So uh, circumstances could compel someone to borrow. Um, for example, uh, we see that we most of the time we should not deal. There's a lot of talk about like mortgage and credit and these type of things, and generally we should avoid them. But if you can't avoid it, then that hukum is removed. For example, if you cannot have a house if you don't take the mortgage because you don't have all the money at that time. And in that case, maybe you can never have a home to live in, or you need the car to drive to work in order to make money to provide for your family and yourself. Then you can take the loan with the interest in these things in these type of cases. But generally, we shouldn't just take a loan for loan's sake, if we can say. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "One who lends to his believing brother and gives him respite till he's capable of repaying it, the amount that he has lent is considered as zakat, and the angels pray for him and seek divine mercy for him until the amount is returned." So during that time you have lent the money, it's as if you've given zakat, and all the angels are making dua for you while you're waiting for your money to return to you. We have hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He said the reward for eliminating the cause of a Muslim's sorrow is more than the reward for praying and fasting. And this is the best way to approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we see that when the Muslim is in distress and he needs help, and you come and help and give them a loan, and you remove their sorrow. So this hadith is applicable to the person who gives the loan. Also, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, Allah will grant 73 rewards to whoever eliminates the cause of a Muslim sorrow or a believer's sadness. He will save 72 of those rewards for him and grant him one reward immediately. These two hadith from Mishkat al-Anwar, another hadith from Tuhaf al-Uqul from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. The person who moves to fulfill the need of his brother in faith is similar as the runner between Safa and Marwa. And the one who fulfills his need is like the one who wallowed and rolled in his own blood, fi sabilillah, on the day of Badr and Uhud. So we see the great reward in removing the sorrow from a Muslim, and this is done through one of the ways is financially. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if one lends to his Muslim brother, is for his own, every dirham that he lends will qualify him for a reward equivalent to the mountain of Uhud. and Mount Sinai. And if he is lenient in collecting his debt, he shall cross the Sirat like a stroke of lightning, so very quickly. And if a Muslim brother relates his sorrows before a person, and this person does not lend him any money, the heavens shall be denied to him on the day of recompensing the good doers. So we see if our brother is in need, then we should find a way to help him. If we have a way to help him and we just refuse to help him for no good reason at all, then there's consequences to that. So we should think of each other as one big community, that we help each other like a family unit. We have hadith that say the believing body of believers is like a body. If one part hurts, the other part feels it. For example, your hand hurts, one part hurts, the other part you'll feel it. If your foot hurts, you feel it in your head even. Also, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one from whom his Muslim brother needs borrowing, but he does not give him a loan, Allah prohibits him entering the Jannah on the day when the righteous will be recompensed. So the person who is he's not in a position to repay the debt, he should at least have the intention of repaying it as soon as he is able to do so. This niyat should be priority with him. In fact, the niyat to repay should be right from the outset of taking the debt. We cannot take the loan knowing in our mind that we have no intention on repaying this loan and we're going to run off with the money. This would be haram. A person who takes a loan without having the intention of repaying the loan is a thief. The following, we have hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam about the niyat of the person who takes a loan. He says, one who takes a loan but doesn't care to repay it is a thief. Also, he said, there are three kinds of thieves. One who does not pay zakat. Secondly, one who does not consider the amount of mahar payable to the wife as an obligatory debt, the dowry to the woman. And one who takes a loan, but he doesn't intend to repay it. Imam continues, says, if the debtor intends to repay the loan, Allah appoints two angels to help him till the loan is repaid. But if he becomes careless of this intention, he will be deprived of Allah's blessings. So he will be deprived of barakat. So when we have the loan, we should always have the intention of repaying this loan. He said, although it is allowed for the person who took the loan to sell off his unnecessary belongings to repay his debts, those things are like not essentials. The creditor is under a divine obligation not to make big trouble for that person, not to make his life hard, not to say, you don't need this thing, sell it and give me the money. You don't need this thing, sell it and do this and that and make him sell his stuff. The creditor should give him some time so that he can repay the debt easily. Work something out with that person. Under these conditions, if he forgives the loan completely, it will be considered as sadaqah for him, and that reward will be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will benefit him forever. Allah says in Quran, if the debtor is in straitness, then let there be postponement until he is in time of ease, and that if you remit it as charity, it's better for you if you badnu. This is Surah Baqarah, ayat 280. Allah doesn't want us to make, standing on top of people, making their life miserable, watching their every move and saying, oh, I saw you eat out today, but you haven't paid me yet. And, where's my money? And calling and bothering people. We should give them time to pay and work out agreement with them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, your debtor is not permitted to delay in repaying the loan if he is capable to pay it. In the same way, you are not permitted to pressure him unduly when you know that he is not in a position to repay you immediately. So the one who has the money to repay the debt, he should go and repay the debt. And the person who has loaned the money to someone, they shouldn't put pressure on them when you know that they cannot pay. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, don't harass your Muslim brother with a demand to the repayment of a debt when you know that he is not able to repay it. Because our exalted grandfather, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has said that it is not permitted for a Muslim to harass his Muslim brother. And if a creditor gives respite to someone that he has given a loan to, he will be qualified to receive the shade and protection of Allah on the day when there will be no other shade. So Islam encourages to, help each other, forgive the debt, the loans, that we have lent other people if we are capable of doing so. So it's encouraged to do that. It means that on the day of judgment, such a person will receive special favors from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Imams have said, if one wishes that he be given refuge under divine shade on the day when there will be no other shade, he should grant respite to his debtor and must not demand it immediately, or should condone or forgive this loan completely. So sometimes someone gives someone a loan because they feel that there's honor in the loan, because I am borrowing, but I am paying you back. Whereas if I just someone just give the money to someone, it's like a charity case, and they say, "Oh, he just giving me money because he thinks I can't pay it back," and there's these type of feelings involved. So someone gives them the loan, but then they realize later that person really couldn't pay it, but he had some honor with him that he didn't want to just take it. So he sees that he's in a straitened circumstance, so he'll say, don't worry about it. I'm okay, and I want to, gift this to you as a gift, and it's better for them. Imam Bakr alayhi salam said there would be some people under the shade of the Arsh on the day of resurrection that their faces will be bright, their dresses or their clothes and their chairs will be glittering. An announcer will call, these are the people who did good towards the believers and gave respite to the incapable debtor till the time he could repay the debt. I mean, imagine a person who's under a lot of stress due to needing to repay this loan all of a sudden, and he gets told, not to worry about it, and their loan is forgiven and paid in full. Imagine the amount, of joy and relief that would cause a person. So we see that when we relieve the sorrow of a Muslim brother, there's so many rewards for that. So, imagine going to pay you have a mortgage and you can't pay it, and you're stressed out, and you like a person lost their job and they don't know how they're going to pay, and then they get some money scrounged together and they go to try to make the payment or talk to the office and tell them they don't have it right now, and then they say no, one of your people from the community, they came, one of your friends, I saw you with him before, he came and he paid the whole thing off. How happy that would make that person. He says the trustworthy scholar of Tashayyu, Sheikh al-Kulaini, he said that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said on the day Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa mounted the mimbar after praising Allah and sending peace on the prophets. He said, those who are present are under the obligation to convey what I say now to those who are not here. And he said, part of this, he said, if one gives respite to his helpless debtor, then till the time he receives his loan, it is upon Allah to record the reward of sadaqah in his scroll of deeds. So all of the time that he's waiting, he gets like he is giving this amount in sadaqah. And for each day of respite that a person gives his debtor, he receives the divine rewards or thawab equivalent to the spending of the loan amount as sadaqah. So every day he is getting this type of reward. A lot of narrations are about this subject, but this is enough of them. He says, if a person dies before he has repaid his debt, and the creditor has not been compensated for it from the belongings left by him, the creditor has not forgiven him his debt, and provided the debtor has not been negligent about repaying it, nor was the loan taken for an haram purpose, and also the person had every intention of repaying it, but he was unable to. So in this case, um, he didn't take out haram loan. He wasn't negligent in paying the debt. He had the intention to pay the debt, but he was unable to do so. Then he died. But the creditor still wants the money, and he didn't leave anything behind really to pay for it. So it says under these circumstances, according to narrations, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will compensate the creditor on day of judgment. So even if he has no way to get this, he has no inheritance, his family cannot pay, none of these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him reward for this. So it's not like we see with kuffar or disbelievers, they only think of this life. They don't think of akhirah because they don't believe in akhirah. So they will just say, I lost everything. I lost all my money. I gave this guy, $500,000, and then he died and he didn't leave the money to repay me, and I just lost it. But as Muslims, we don't think like that. It would be a huge loss for us in dunya, but we will get this reward in akhirah. And inshallah, Allah would replace this for us and even something better in this dunya, inshallah. Says Muhammad ibn Bashir came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and told him that he owed 1,000 dinars to Shahab, another person. He requested that the Imam to persuade Shahab to respite him till the day of Hajj. So Imam summoned Shahab and said, you know that Muhammad ibn Bashir he's amongst our followers. He owes you 1,000 dinars. This amount was not spent by him on himself. Rather, it remained as a debt upon some people, and he had to bear the loss. I wish that you forgive this 1,000 dinars. So he said, maybe you are under the impression that his good deeds will be given to you in return of your loan. Shahab says, yes, I'm under this impression. So the Imam told him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful and he is just. If someone, in order to achieve Allah's nearness, worships him on cold winter nights, fasts on hot summer days, goes around the holy Kaaba, then do you think after all this, Allah will take away his good deeds and then give him to you? It's not like this. His mercy is more than this. By his grace, he recompenses the doers of good deeds, the good deeds of a believer. So mercy is capable of giving mercy to this person and also to this person. So after listening to these words, Shahab said that he is forgiven forever. Will get the reward in akhirah for giving this loan, and he will get the amount that he has given as he gave it in sadaqah, or other narration says as zakat, paying. So now let's say the person just doesn't want to pay and he's lazy and he doesn't care about it, or if he taken the loan for haram, or the spite of being capable of death, his debt has not been paid, nor has the creditor forgiven him the loan, then on day of judgment, his good deeds equivalent to the loan amount will be given to the creditor. And if his good deeds are exhausted, he doesn't have enough of them to cover that, sins from the scroll of deeds of the guilty one who did not pay the loan and was negligent in the loan. So we see from this, in the end result, is that whatever we give for sake of Allah, we will get it back. Maybe we get it back in this dunya, maybe we get it back in akhirah. Maybe the person cheated us and didn't pay, or they took the money for haram and they wasted it. Maybe they went and bought alcohol or drugs and threw themselves a big party and wasted all their money, and and blew the money and didn't pay it back. Or maybe they just didn't have intention to pay it back. then no worries. We can get this amount recovered on Day of Judgment. And we shouldn't give someone all of our stuff in the first place, so it would make us lose. Like we gave them everything we had. As we have ayats in Quran to say to the effect that to give in charity, but not to give everything, and don't keep your hand shackled to your neck, meaning like not to be stingy. So we should give in moderation what we can from our excess and these things, and whatever we can spare, but we're not putting ourselves in bad situation where we cannot survive. And if they didn't pay us, Day of Judgment, they have some good deeds, we will get some of those good deeds from them. If they don't have any good deeds, na'udhu billah, they were just doing haram and a lot of other things, then some of our shortcomings will be transferred into their situation. So either way, we will be recompensed fairly and justly in akhirah. We started a few minutes late, so let me finish this couple narration and we'll be done with this section. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said the most difficult time on Day of Judgment or Day of Resurrection will be when those eligible to receive khums and zakat will rise up and besiege the one who has not paid it. A lot of people, they don't care about zakat, they don't care about khums, they don't even think about these things, and they don't pay. The people who were entitled to those things, those khums, those sadat, who were entitled to that, those poor people from Sayyid, they will complain to Allah. The hadith says they will complain to Allah that this person has not paid the amount due to them from the khums and the zakat. And then Allah will transfer the good deeds of that person and give them to those who were eligible for zakat or eligible for khums. Imam said also said that on Day of Resurrection, the creditor will complain against his debtor. Then if the debtor would have good deeds to his credit, they will be taken away from the creditor. Then if there are no good deeds for this purpose, the sins of the creditor will be added to the scroll of the deeds of the debtor. So the author says it's amply evident from the various narrations that we have that if a person dies before fulfilling the rights of others on him, he will not achieve a salvation till the rights are restored to the owner, or either the owner forgives him. This is haqqun nas. This is the most difficult thing, that one of the most difficult things that we have to deal with in akhirah. It says, or till his good deeds are given to the one who had the right upon him. Or if there are no good deeds for this purpose, the sins of the latter will be transferred to the scroll of deeds of the former. Or lastly, until Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam would intercede on their behalf, inshallah. So this is all of this is emphasizing like how important it is to take care of our stuff between people, haqqun nas, to take account, okay, I owe this person, I need to work on trying to settle this with them, I need to pay them, I need to do some work, I need to set money aside, or take a look. Some people owe me some money, but they're doing very bad and they don't have any way to pay me, and it's a big burden on them. Maybe I'm doing good, so I just get reward for that in akhirah. And no matter what recompense for that, they will not lose. They'll either get it here, encouragement to give loan to people or help other people with our excess of whatever we can. And that's enough for this session. Inshallah, we'll pick back up in the